Hello and welcome to this quick video. This is for one of my Patreons, a gentleman called Mick. Now he is using one of my OpenTX mixes, this one up here in the left hand corner. I'll put a link down to it below. I've done several of these where it's about how you can flick a switch and add some auto up elevators. So if I actually open this, what this is EdgeTX Companion. I'm using this on a computer because it's just easier to show than trying to film the screen on a radio. If I simulate this, so this is the settings for the model itself. So it's AETR, so that's the elevator there. And what I can do is I can just flick the momentary switch. That adds a little bit extra onto the elevator to help with launches. And then as soon as I move the main controls, that additional piece drops off. Now, very, very quickly, let me show you how that works. But because Mick is asking how you can make it so that you can't accidentally hit that momentary switch, because he's absolutely right. What could happen is you get to the field, you flick the switch, you raise the throttle to start flying, and then you start flying around, and that takes off that extra little bit. If you get a bit carried away and accidentally catch that switch, you could potentially add it back in. We have to be a little bit careful in things like Companion because unfortunately some of the logic stuff doesn't always work as perfectly as it should. So there is a way to fix that. So let me very quickly show you how I've done this if you're interested in auto launches. A couple of little tricks. First one is in inputs. I've added the elevator and aileron onto an input channel. These aren't used for actually flying, but it means that if I move the aileron or the elevator, meaning the right stick, that both of those will move. So that one channel I can use in the logical switches to detect whether or not input 10, which is the aileron and the elevator, if it moves more than 10 away, that little A with the vertical bars is greater than X. Basically means that it's like if I move this, then that's detected on the radio. So we can see that logical switch 1 here. You can see that how it's all working, but you just watch logical switch 1 up here on the right hand side. As I move this, as I move it around, I can move it horizontally or vertically and it gets detected. So that's how you cancel essentially the extra elevator for launch. The second bit is the magic. It's a sticky that uses when L01 isn't in position, i.e. when the sticks are in the center, and when the magic switch SH, that's the momentary switch, is flicked. So that's how that works. So basically the elevator is in normal trim position. I hit that, it adds a little bit extra, and then I start flying and it knocks it off. So the last thing you do is in your mixes, you add an extra line onto the elevator using the source as max because we're not interested in it being related to any controls. We need to take that off. The weight is 20%. That's how much is going to be added. If you want more assistance, you can increase that number. And it is turned on and off by exclamation mark logical switch 02. The exclamation mark is just saying when the logical switch is not on. So that's what the exclamation mark means. Okay, so hopefully you're still with me. However, I've done this one here, which is where I have added some extra safety bits in so that you can't accidentally flick that momentary switch. Everything else is the same. So the inputs, we have the same thing on I10. We have the same thing in mixes. There's nothing changed in there. And the outputs are all the same. The logical switches have one extra piece. Now before, what we had was in here was SH. And this is the stuff really I think that Mick's interested in. So hopefully Mick, you're still with me. So SH would normally be there. That's how we had before. We've added this extra line. And what you can do here is you can combine multiple controls, physical controls and other logical switches into logical switches to act as kind of extra safeties. So rather than have it working like you get used to, which is these top two lines, I've added this extra line and I've said when A is less than X. So when the throttle is less than 10, i.e. when you're about to throw it, and SH is flicked, then logical switch 3 comes on. So let me show you what that looks like. So here, for example, the throttle is at the low position, right? So we're going to flick SH, and then what happens to logical switch 3 here? As we flick it, it can come on. And the reason it can come on is because the throttle is at a low position. However, if we're flying and we flick it, logical switch 3 never comes on. So combining the low throttle position with SH in logical switch 3 means that we can now, rather than use just the switch for SH, if we use logical switch 3 instead, that now acts as a safety. So if we're about to launch, we have all the sticks in the default position, we hit our momentary switch, we get our help with the elevator, we start to fly, we increase the throttle, okay, still got the help on the elevator, and then we cancel it. Brilliant. Now if I hit that momentary switch in flight, it doesn't do a thing until we drop the throttle back to 0, and then it starts to work again. Now, we don't have to use something like the throttle. I think that's a nice way to do it because it's very intuitive. However, we can change this third line. We can change it to something like an AND. So we can have that SH switch like we had before. Where are you? There you are at the bottom. We can add that to another switch. So if we said, I don't know, SA has to be in the bottom position, so we can put these two switches together. So now these two switches have to be together in order for L03 to work. So now, rather than being related to the throttle, watch L03. As I do the momentary switch, nothing happens. But if I do SA and then do SH, there we are. It turned on briefly and now we've got it. So that is the other way around to do it as well. You could do it as simply as that. However, I kind of like the other way with the throttle. I think that's quite cute. So Mick, hopefully that answers it for you. This is how I would do it, and that's how it works. Works the same in OpenTX as well as EdgeTX. Again, check out the OpenTX Mix School. I'll put a link down below. There's loads of cool stuff like this on how to do things automatically with your radio. Thank you for spending your time today watching that video. You can find me in all the usual places on social media, and if you're trying to learn about a subject, then check out the playlist. All of my videos are organized into easy to follow playlists that, if you're trying to learn a topic, will take you from the basics right the way through to some pretty advanced stuff.